Please like and comment on the video below. That will allow me to produce better quality videos and more of them in the future.
So I want to talk to you about staking in this video. And when we talk about staking, you'll notice at the top of the ladder here, we've all got these different stakes. And when you watch me trade, you'll notice that I trade with certain stakes. And sometimes there doesn't seem to be much logic to it. But there is deep logic to how I stake. In fact, there's deep logic to everything that I do. But I wanted to talk it through with you so that you can understand how you probably would stake and how that's going to vary from the sort of staking that I use. So you'll often see that I've got multiples of stakes above the ladder here in the staking area. And the reason that I do that is, depending upon how liquid the market is, I may go in and use a different stakes. So say for example I'm really confident that the market is going to perform a certain way, then it's quite easy to just go in and bang in some 512k stakes and get my overall order up to a couple of grand or so. But the problem that I face is that, you know, if I look at this market here, can you see it's very, very liquid. Now we're some way off from this, and it's an Irish race, and it's got all of the worst characteristics that you could possibly imagine. But there's just no point in me putting in large stakes into this market, because the market will just run away from me. So when I split the stakes up into different amounts, the reason that I do this is I can start with a small stake, and if I want to increase my stake, it's just click. I can basically add another bit to my stake and build the stake up or decrease it depending upon my confidence in the trade. So I'll start with a smaller stake, and then I'll gradually build my stake up to a level at which I feel comfortable, and then I'll gradually reduce that stake. The level at which I feel comfortable is the level at which I think I can get out in a reasonable amount of time. So that's typically about sort of double the average amount that's getting matched per second. Now most people, when they trade, will be trading to fixed stakes. So they'll basically set up their screen and they'll do a stake of £10, and then they'll start clicking away with £10 up and down the ladder. But the problem that you have with staking like that is you will get unequal returns. So you can see on the favourite here, the favourite is priced at odds increments of 2, so you get 2% of your £10. If you work out what 2% of £10 is, it's 20p. So if you pull off a successful trade for one tick on the favourite, you're going to get 20p. Let's have a look at what happens over here. If we do it over here and we're using £10, you get a 10% return. So you can see it going up 10% at a time here, or 5% in the other direction. So you're going to get £1. So if you trade with £10 on the second favourite, per successful trade you're going to get £1. But if you do it on the favourite, a big back order went through there, if you do it on the favourite, then you're going to get absolutely nothing really. You're going to get 20p out of it. So you're going to get 5 times as much trading the second favourite as you did the first. Now if we go up to this one here, that moves 20% at a time, so you're going to get £2 per successful trade on there. So think about which one would you prefer to use. So you know, or prefer to trade. If you have a £10 stake, you could actually trade any one of those front 3. But if you're going to trade the favourite, then you need it to move a bit in order to get the same return that you would have done on the second favourite. This excludes hedging, but I treat trading and hedging completely different. Somebody said on one of my videos, why do you leave your positions unhedged? That's one of the reasons, because doing a successful trade should not be hedge reliant. You have to do your trade and then hedge it. You don't think about the final hedge total. You do the best trade you can and then you finally hedge it. So that's why I don't tend to show hedged amounts on the traded profit column. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, depending upon which runner you trade, you'll get a different return. So how do you equalize that return? Well, if you go up to staking method on BetAngel, then you can actually trade by tick size. So if we go by tick size, what this will allow you to do is to trade to, say, a £1 tick size. Now I've got the new staking method up here. You may not be able to see that on Trader or the older versions of Pro. But if I go to even I've forgotten what it is, go to staking, sorry for that temporary brain freeze there, then what you can actually do is price-based staking or auto staking. And this is typically the screen that you would see. So if we use the auto staking, can you see it says tick size? You can select from this box by tick size or liability, and you can select £1. And if I do update stakes now, if you look here, and across each one of these into the individual standard staking areas, then if we highlight the standard staking area for each of these ladders, then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trading to a £1 tick size. So if we trade in and out of this runner, it will return £1. If we trade in and out of this runner, it will return £1. And if we trade in and out of this runner, guess what it will return? It will return £1. So if you're actively trading and you're serious about trading properly, you should equalize your stake with the return, because you start trading at £1 tick sizes, and then you have a few days or weeks or whatever of growth, then you can change that to £2 tick sizes, and then you can see the standard stake changes again. And then basically at the end of each day, each week, each month, or whatever your time period is, you look at how much you've got within your bank, and then you increment the tick size until eventually you get to a tick, say we were trading for £100 tick sizes, and we update stakes. You see you'd have to use 5,000 on the favorite, 1,000 on the second, 500 on the third. You can see these are totals that are totally unachievable in this market, and it's at that point that you start trading with inside the means of the market. But when you first start trading, I suggest you set it at £1 tick sizes, or €1, or whatever currency you're using, and you trade with those values in there, because trading with £10 on the favorite is not the same as trading as £10 on the third favorite. You get different results, different payoffs, and the idea of the auto staking is that you can actually equalize those payoffs. So you know if you get a trade right here, you're going to get a £1 return, and if you do a trade here, you'll get a £1 return, and if you do a trade here, you'll get a £1 return. Then if your confidence goes up and you're winning trades more regularly, you can increase your tick size to £1.50 or whatever you want to. And say you're on £5 tick sizes and that's not working for you, then you can lower it. You can bring it down to a much lower level, to where you feel comfortable. But that's the way that I recommend that you trade and that you stake. You stake within the liquidity in the market. You can see here that there's only £200 or so available at many different prices. Part of that is because we're so far out. But when you get to that critical trading period in the last 10 minutes, if you have a look up and down the market, you'll see 200s, 500s, or whatever your certain amount is. Try not to stake above that level, because if you stake above that level and you have to get out of a trade really quickly, then you won't be able to dump your position without influencing price, and if you influence the price, you increase the chance of losing your particular trade, or losing money on that particular trade. So yeah, trade by tick sizes until you exceed the liquidity in the market, and then you start working and using, as I do, stakes that fit within that particular framework of liquidity within the market. That's how I recommend that you adjust and use stakes when you're trading.